Welcome back to my channel. So this is the continuation ng lesson natin last time. Wherein last time we discussed about factoring. So aside from the knowledge of factoring, kailangan din natin i-apply ang laws of exponents in simplifying rational algebraic expressions. So are you ready? Let's start. So, sa laws of exponents, so we have to remember A should not be equal to 0 and B should not also be equal to 0. So, let's start with the first law of exponent, which is the product law. So, in the product law, it states that if that is A raised to X times A raised to Y, so ang gagawin lang natin is just the sum of their exponents, A raised to X plus Y. Suppose we have the given 2x cubed times 5x squared. So, in this case, i-multiply natin yung ating numerical coefficients which are 2 and 5. So, 2 times 5 is 10. And then, again, sa rule natin sa product, having the same base, ang gagawin lang natin sa exponents natin ay i-add natin. So, copy the base which is x. Then get the sum of their exponents. 3 plus 2 is 5. Okay? So, the answer is 10x to the 5th. The second law na pag-uusapan natin is the quotient law. In this case, a raised to x divided by a raised to y, that is equal to a raised to x minus y. So, in this case, isusubtract lang natin yung kanilang exponent if and only if para sila ng base. So, suppose we have this given 25x to the 7 divided by 5x to the 4th. So, in this case, pansinin pa rin natin yung ating numerical coefficient. 25 divided by 5 is 5, correct? And then, sa ating exponents, sabi natin dyan, if we have the same base na a, isusubtract lang natin yung exponents nila. So, in this case, paras tayo ng base which is x. So, isusubtract lang natin yung exponent niya, which is 7 minus 4. The answer is 3. So, therefore, 25x to the 7 divided by 5x to the 4th is equal to 5x cubed. Nasusundan ba? Okay. So, that is the second law of exponents. So, let's proceed with the third law. So, the third law is the power of power. If we have the given a raised to x raised to the power of y. So, ang gagawin lang natin, class, is copy the base, which is a, and then get the product ng ating mga power. So, x times y. So, therefore, a raised to x times y. Yan. And then, say for example, we have of 4x squared raised to the third power. So, in this case, i-distribute natin yung cube. So, unahin muna natin yung numerical coefficient natin. So, 4 times 4 times 4 is 64. And then, according to the power of power, if we have an exponent raised to another power, you just have to multiply. Or simply, i-distribute lang natin yung power. So, 2 times 3 is 6. So, therefore, 4x squared raised to the third power is simply as 64x raised to the 6th power. On the fourth law, so we have here zero exponent. So according to the law of zero exponent, any number raised to 0, the answer is 1. So suppose we have the quantity of 8x cubed raised to 0, that is simply, the answer is 1. Okay, can you follow? Okay, let's proceed with the last law of exponent. The last law of exponent states that if we have a negative exponent, ang gagawin lang natin, class, is get the reciprocal ng ating given, so that will be 1 over a. And this time, yung ating negative exponent, since kinuha natin yung reciprocal, this time, magiging positive na yung exponent natin. So, therefore, a raised to negative x is equal to 1 all over a raised to x. So, say for example, we have the quantity of 2x raised to the negative 3. So, ang gagawin lang natin, get the reciprocal ng buong term na naka-raise sa negative 3. And then, from negative 3, since nireciprocal na natin siya, magiging positive 3. And then, simplify natin yung denominator. So, we have here, apply natin yung power of power. So, distribute lang natin yung cube. So, 1 all over 8x cube. Okay? Nasusundan ba, class? Okay. Those are the laws of exponents. Yung limang yon. The product, quotient, power, zero exponent, and a negative exponent. Since we're done with recalling the laws of exponents, we can now proceed with simplifying rational algebraic expressions. So let us have this example. So how are we going to simplify x to the fifth divided by x cubed? So in this case, we can apply the law of quotient wherein ang gagawin natin, class, since parehas tayo ng base which is x, so you have to rewrite x and then get the difference of their exponents. So you'll be having x raised to 5 minus 3 and 5 minus 3 is 2. So therefore, the simplified form of x to the fifth divided by x cubed is x squared. Can you follow? Next, let us have another example. Say we have x plus 5 squared divided by x squared plus 7x plus 10. So in this case, we have here trinomial sa denominator. So is it factorable? Yes, it is factorable. What is then the factor ng ating denominator to make it simplify? Para mas simplify siya and then hindi na tayo mahirapan when it comes to simplifying the rational algebraic expression na given natin. So the factored form ng ating denominator are, okay, so the factored form is the quantity of x plus 5 times the quantity of x plus 2. Again, kailangan lang natin mag-isip ng factors ng ating last term wherein kailangan lumabas yung middle term natin. So, factors ni 10 ay 10 and 1, but then pag kinuha natin yung sum ni 10 and 1, the answer would be 11. Pero, we have other factors pa ni 10 which is 5 and 2. So, 5 and 2, 5 times 2 is 10, and then get the sum, 5 plus 2 is 7. So, possible na makuha natin yung middle term natin. So, therefore, the factored form ng ating denominator is the quantity of x plus 5 times the quantity of x plus 2. And then, on the numerator, we have the quantity of x plus 5 squared. Now, here, pwede palit natin apply naman ang quotient law wherein we have the same base d yan which is x plus 5. Parehas tayo may x plus 5. We can cancel that already. However, yung ating numerator is raised to 2. So, dividing algebraic expression, so ang gagawin lang natin is subtract yung ating exponent. So, 2 minus 1 is 1. Since that is positive, so saan natin ilalagay si x plus 5? Okay, correct. Since ang ating exponent positive 1, so numerator natin siya ilalagay. And then, on the denominator, since wala naman na-cancel kay x plus 2, so we can rewrite x plus 2. And the final answer is, or the simplified form ng ating x plus 5 squared divided by x squared plus 7x plus 10 is x plus 5 all over x plus 2. Okay, let's have another example. So we have ab squared divided by ab. So in this case, applying the law of exponents, so a divided by a, so cancel na natin yan. Y, 1 minus 1 is 0. And a raised to 0 is 1. And then what about the b? b squared divided by b, subtract lang natin ang exponent, 2 minus 1, so that will be 1. So the answer is b raised to 1 or simply b. And another example we have is x squared minus 9 divided by x plus 3. So if you will notice, yung ating numerator is factorable. And that is an example nga ng ano? Okay, the difference of 2 square. Perfect square yung first term and then perfect square yung last term. And again, kunin lang natin ang square root ng first and last term, and that would be the sum and difference. Yan. So, recall natin, the factored form ng x squared minus 9 natin is x plus 3 times the quantity of x minus 3. And then, on the denominator, we have x plus 3. And then, kaya pa natin yung isimplify. So, we can now cancel out x plus 3 on the numerator and the denominator. And then we will have the final answer which is x minus 3. Nasusundan ba? Very good. Okay, so another example, lagyan natin ng konting twist. Okay, so we say we have here x squared plus 3x minus 4 all over x cubed minus 1. So in this case, mapapansin natin, both the numerator and the denominator is factorable. Yung numerator natin, so we have to do trial and error. Let's see kung may mafa-factor dyan. And then on the denominator, kung mapapansin nyo, that is the difference of 2 cubed. Okay? So let us simplify muna the numerator. Notice that the middle term ng numerator natin is positive. And then the last term is negative. So what are the factors ng 4 wherein lalabas na positive 3 yung ating middle term? So trial and error. So we can assume or we can conclude that the factors of 4 are 4 and 1 para lumabas 3. However, kailangan maging careful tayo when it comes to the sign. Kailangan maging positive 3x yung middle term. So, which of the two ang dapat naka-positive? Correct. So, yung plus 4 and this one will be negative 1. So, if you are going to check that using FOIL method, so we can arrive with the answer x squared plus 3x minus 4. Now, on the denominator, sabi natin that is a perfect cube, the difference of 2 cubes. So, kung natatandaan, in factoring the difference of 2 cube, kunin lang natin ang cube root ng first term and cube root ng last term. Yan. So, the cube root of x cubed is x. The cube root of 1 is 1. But, kasi diba, 1 times 1 is 1 times 1 is still 1. And then, yung other factor natin, depending on our first factor, so square the first term, square the last term. So, x times x, x squared, negative 1 times negative 1, positive 1. And then, on the middle term, just get the product, 1 times x is x. And then, opposite, if that is negative, so this will be positive. Now, are we done? Not yet. So, we can still cancel x minus 1 from the numerator and the denominator kasi that is 1 minus 1 is 0. They're exponents, di ba? And then, that would be simply 1. Or simply, pag ganan, identical naman siya, cancel na natin siya. Equivalent na rin yan sa 1. And then, our final answer will be x plus 4 all over x squared plus x plus 1. Naintindihan ba? Very good, class. That's all for today. So I'll see you on my next vlog for more